Mindful selling is where we move away from using traditional selling methods and a typical process to working with engaging in the mind. Where do people make their decisions? In here. But do you even know the guy who say, for example, I've been sitting in front of you talking a lot for a while. Am I a left brain thinker? Am I a right brain thinker? See, this is the problem, right? Okay, now, if I don't even know who the person is in front of me, what is your opening line? How do you even start your pitch? People think and process information very, very differently if they are left brain dominant and if they are right brain dominant. So most of the times when we lose an opportunity or the client says, let me come back to you, it has got nothing to do with the community or the opportunity. It has everything to do with two people sitting there without even knowing who the other person is. One turns up with a cricket bat, the other comes with a soccer ball, right? The best definition I ever heard of sales is the transfer of passion and enthusiasm for the product from the mind of the salesperson to the mind of the prospect. If you can get them excited the way you are excited about it, they will buy. But again, another factor that we have to consider here, and you can debate this, no problem, I'll give you the answers. All buying decisions, every single buying decision is emotional. Okay, even the hardcore nut, that tough investor, his decision will be based on an emotion. Logic will justify the buying process. So I will evaluate, analyze, compare, challenge, counter. I'll do all of that using my left brain. As a result of doing all of that, I will feel good about it or I will not feel good about it. That's where I make the decision, because my feeling brain feeds back and says, you know what, I don't feel good about it. Those numbers that we looked at don't convince me. The decision is always made on that feeling. So empathy that comes in is where we begin to now sell and present, not based on how we know and understand the opportunity, but it is how they need to understand the opportunity. I say this all the time. People buy from people they like, but people like themselves. So if you're not evaluating in the first 5 seconds on a phone call, in the first 15 seconds face-to-face, when you see a WhatsApp, if you're not evaluating the person who's writing the WhatsApp, is he left brain or right brain? How are you even replying? Here's the secret. You never reply to a WhatsApp. You reply to the person behind the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp is simply a communication channel. When someone sits and talks to you, they use words, but they will have a preference for certain words, the way they frame sentences, how they will select it, which is based on their unconscious patterns. So they reveal who they are and how they like to think in the choice of their words, the framing of the sentence, the tonality in the voice, how loud, how soft they speak. Listen for that, and then don't reply to the words, reply to the person who's speaking it. You do this in a Zoom meeting, you do it on a phone call, you do it face to face. Mindful selling is keeping in mind the person who's going to make the buying or the selling decision. Now, if they're buying, you will present it the way they need to hear it. Traditional selling does not work anymore, all right? The elements of traditional selling are still there. Yes, you have to reach out, you have to build rapport, you have to connect with the person, you have to take control, you have to qualify, you need to summarize the qualifying, you need to do your pitch or your presentation, you answer the objections, you close the deal, and you build your new network with referral generation. That is the standard selling process that has been here for 200 years. But people have evolved. People now understand and evaluate things very, very differently. So everybody agrees we have to build rapport with clients? What do you think? Yeah? Or you just walk in and say, oh, by the way, this new product just got, because some people do that. Are you interested in property? My first question is, are you interested in me? I actually asked that to people. I said, sir, are you interested in property? I said, no. But are you interested in me? Let's spend a few minutes and talk about each other, shall we? They don't do that, right? So my question is this. Left brain people respond to empathy and warm up and rapport differently than right brain people. But if I do not understand this dynamic, I'm going in with one standard rehearsed way of building rapport, which has been my unconscious pattern for the last 20, 50, 60, 100, 200 meetings. I've created my own unconscious pattern. Most of the time I'm not even aware of my own unconscious pattern. So I just sit there and I do it. But why do I do that? Because in my unconscious pattern is my comfort and my confidence. But the guy is not even sitting on the same side of the head as you. Think of it as two rooms in the house. This is the analogy I use all the time. Two rooms in a house. And you got one person in, the client is in one room and you're in another room. What is the possibility of a conversation happening? You're in two different rooms. Even if the client understands this concept, he's not leaving his room to come to yours. You're going to have to get up and get out of your room and go into his room, then you can engage. Because people buy from people they like, but people like themselves. Let me give you other examples of why mindful selling and empathy is important. You would have come across a lot of clients who talk a lot. True? Someone like me. Yeah? Okay, they'll talk a lot, but they're very random, they're very scattered. You're sitting there, you might be this very serious, left-brain, process-driven, well-prepared person, ready to get into the engagement, and this guy's talking about the new beaches that are opening, the new seafood restaurant, the weather dropping in Dubai. How come it didn't drop? Usually your winter is in December, right? What happened? How come it's in... And you're sitting there wondering, what does this have to do with the home? And you're sitting there eager to pull him back into the left brain, logical, practical, structured, sequential, fact-based. But this guy is relationship-based. He loves to talk. He is the center of all transactions. He's the center of the universe. But he is not structured. He's not detailed. He's not logical. He thinks 1-5, purple, Dubai, alligator. And he can hold all of this in his mind and make sense of all the 5 things. But the poor left brain, who's very linear, 1, 2, 2.1, 2.2, says, where did alligator come into this conversation from? So they don't get it. So now what happens? You see this client on the phone, face to face, they ramble, they're talking about anything and everything. What's the conclusion we draw? The guy's wasting my time. He's not serious. Really? Do you even know if he's left-brained or right-brained? So you don't know that. So you jump to a conclusion just because this guy is talking about anything and everything other than property. You know what? He's a waste of time. That's why you need the mindful selling.
So, can you summarize this information with regards to the left and the right brain, and when we should use more emotions and when we should use more analytics, just to cover that?
Okay. You want me to confuse it more? There's a front brain and back brain also.
Let's start with the left and right.
For now, let's just stay with left brain and right brain. Okay. The left brain people are logical, sequential and structured, very well organized, focus on effectiveness and practicality. They are result oriented. They want data backed by proof. That's your left brain person. Okay. The right brain person is more relationship, emotional, engagement, connection, fun, easy way of doing it. They love having a conversation. Their sentences will be long, it will be vague, and they will not focus on detail. Whereas the left brain will be specific sentences, to the point, and very practical. So left brain is objective, right brain is subjective. Okay? Left brain is short and specific, right brain will go all over the planet. If you ask them a simple question, so how much are you looking at investing? They will say, well, once upon a time there was a king and a queen. They had 3 lovely children. The first one was named Alice, the second, and you're wondering, I just asked you a simple question, how much are you looking at investing? They will give you the answer, but they'll take you on a journey first. So maybe a more practical example, well, how much are you looking at investing? Well, that really depends. You see, I was originally thinking about, actually I planned to do a townhouse, but now maybe the villas are looking more attractive to me. So can we look at potential on villas, and then maybe that will help me give you the answer. That's right brain. So he's intending to answer, but he will go through all of this and then he will come to the answer. So this is what happens. So left brain, very specific, logical, structured. Right brain, more friendly, relationship based. Now, on the left brain, there's 2 types again. There is the front brain, left brain, the aggressive guys. Most of the investors you get, the hardcore investors, 1, 5, 10. Khalas, that's it. How much? They'll speak short, sharp, specific, intense eye contact. Gestures are strong, not friendly, free-flowing. Right brain is friendly, free-flowing. They smile, body moves a lot, exactly what I'm doing right now. Long sentences, more vague, but good eye contact, laugh, they share jokes, anecdotes with you. That's just how they buy anything. Now, in traditional rapport, if you had a person and they were talking and they were engaging with you, what would you conclude? That they are comfortable with you? Yes, no? Because that's what we are taught. In rapport, it's about trust and comfort. So when people have open body language, when they have good eye contact, they're speaking freely with you, engaging, asking questions, rapport has been built. Bullshit. Okay. All right brain people will talk. They'll talk to taxi drivers on the way home. They'll get into an elevator and they never shut up. You've met these people, right? You walk into an elevator full of 20 people and there'll be these two going jibba jabba, jibba jabba, jibba jabba. And they don't care who's around them. But they're having fun. Immediately in your head, right brain. That's who they are. So my point here being, just because someone opens up, talks to you, smiles, looks friendly, doesn't mean they trust you. They'll have an amazing conversation. There's no way I'm putting 3 million on the table just because of that. So these old traditional techniques of building rapport, qualifying, don't work anymore. Mindful selling looks at the new techniques.